guys, I know it's been a minute since I did a video. A lot has happened in my life where I haven't been able to post videos, but I'm gonna give you guys an update of what's been going on in my life. As you can see from the title, yes, I'm gonna tell you a story time how I found out I was pregnant with baby number 2. That's right, baby number 2. So so I was on birth control, whatever. I believe I got on birth control end of January, beginning of February. So I was bleeding a lot. So I just kept bleeding a lot. So I asked my doctor, is this normal to bleed a lot on my period? Like, be bleeding a lot? Like, I'm always on my period. I've been bleeding for like 3 months. And it was like, yeah, this is normal. Some girls bleed a lot. Some girls don't have a period. So I'm like, dang, okay. So eventually it stopped bleeding. I want to say like beginning of May, just before JoJo was about to turn 1. It stopped. I stopped bleeding, and he turned 1 in May. He's about to be 3 now. So I'm like, okay, yay, finally. So I started noticing like around, and with I had the depot shot. So the depot shot, you get like you go every 3 months. So I only had 2 shots of the depot, okay, 2 shots, and I was like, no, I never went back for the 3rd shot. So I started feeling sick. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, it could just be, it might be the flu, or it could just be a bug, it just could be a bug. So I'm like, okay. But see, mind you, I was on birth control, so I'm like, okay, I haven't been bleeding. So I'm like, no, I should be straight. I should be straight. You know what I mean? I should be straight. So I'm like, no, I can't be pregnant. So I took a pregnancy test, y'all, like December 20 something. I can't really remember. So I took a pregnancy test, and it was like a line, and then the line was like really faded. So I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. Ooh, boom, bam, pow. So I'm like, all right, I'm not pregnant. Then I started feeling more sick. Like, the stuff I experienced with JoJo, I was experiencing with my baby girl Alannah. So I'm like, okay, hold up, I may not be pregnant. So I'm texting my best friend, and I'm like, best friend, I think I'm pregnant. And she was like, what? I'm like, I took a pregnancy test or whatever, and it was like this. And she was like, Destiny, that means you're pregnant. So now y'all know, in order to be pregnant, when you look at the pregnancy test, I thought it has to be 2 strong lines. So I did some research or whatever. It was like, yes, sometimes the line can be very faint. So basically, they're trying to say I took it too early. Like, oh, damn. For real? So I'm like, oh my God, please. I'm not trying to be pregnant again. I was just now starting to be confident after I had JoJo, starting to really start back feeling like my old self. So I'm like, dang, come on, for real. So I'm like, oh my God, please don't let me be pregnant. Please don't let me be pregnant. Please don't let me be pregnant. So I'm like, yo, I gotta be pregnant. So mind you, I was so mad. I was so upset because it was a week before my birthday, our 21st birthday. So you already know I could not turn up. So, as you know, I started getting a little pudge, and I'm like, dang, man, I'm pregnant for real. So I went to I had a job or whatever at a daycare, and I had to go get a physical and all that, whatever. So, I'm like, yeah, I need to go get a physical and all that stuff. So I had went and got the physical done. I was like, I think I might be pregnant. And it was like, you think you might be pregnant? And it was like, when was the last time you had your period? And I told them and whatever. And it was like, you haven't been bleeding since when? Mind you, I forgot to say this. Mind you that when I would go to my doctor's appointment before I get my depot shot, they would be like, oh, you think you're pregnant? I'm like, no, I can't be pregnant. I'm on birth control, right? So I know the first time I got on depot, they gave me a pregnancy test. It came out negative. So the second time I declined it because I'm like, I'm not pregnant. I bet you if I would have took that pregnancy test then that second time, it most likely would have been positive. So I'm telling them everything. And they was like, we need to get you a pregnancy test. So they gave me a pregnancy test. That thing came back positive. I'm like, dang, I'm pregnant again. So you already know, me and babe was kind of like, just like, no. Like, I love my baby girl, don't get me wrong, but when you're not at that state where you're ready to, like, okay, so with JoJo, it just was him. We had help, so, like, we still don't have our own place. So it's like, we finna have another baby, and we're not even there. So it was like a lot of oh my God, like, why? And is this the right timing? But you know, like I always say, yeah, God, like with God, everything happens for a reason. So I kept saying, like, this must be, it's a reason for this. Like, don't get me wrong, I did not want to have another baby because, like, only because of what I went through with Josiah. It was just so traumatic and it was so much for me, you know what I'm saying? I just was like, I can't do that again. But you know what? You know, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep her. You know, it is what it is. I created her. I didn't take the precautions. Well, I did take the precautions, but I didn't take all the precautions. You know, they say use protection, but I'm like, I've been with the same partner for, you know, all these years, and it's like, why would I need to use a condom? And we've been, you know, together all these years. It's basically somebody I trust, you know, so I'm like, what was the purpose of a condom? And I'm on birth control, so I thought taking that was a safe route, when obviously it wasn't. It's going around, walking around like I wasn't pregnant. Did not want to go to the doctor's office because I just got this job. I'm like, no, like, cause like I work at daycare, so you have to be there Monday through Friday. So, and I'm new, so I wasn't trying to get no points or something like that. But I'm like, dang, I already got to take Josiah's appointments, and then I gotta, like, you know, did not want them to know I was pregnant. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta tell somebody. So like after a while, like months gone by, and I'm still, listen y'all, I have not been to the, like, I got the confirmation I was pregnant, but I did not go to OBGYN yet. I'm like, I don't even know how far along I am. None of that. Let me stop playing, because I was kind of getting there. It was little, you know, but I was starting to, like, if you could see me out in public, you couldn't tell I was pregnant. But if I was to lift up my shirt and you could obviously see that, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. So I would be like, oh no, am I around people's, like, around my mom and dad, around his mom? Oh no. No, I did not want to know at all. Like, they're gonna kill me. So for eventually, so the same thing happened with JoJo. My pregnancy with JoJo happened with baby girl. I passed out at work and I'm like, I'm pregnant. And it was like, oh my God, I passed out of work, and it was like, okay, how far along are you? Because ambulance came. I'm like, I don't even know how far along I am. And they looking at me like, you don't know? I'm like, no, I've not been to the doctor, like, at all. So I had go just went. They was like, I'm like, it's just a lot why I haven't went, you know? So I'm like, I wasn't totally ready to accept it. So I'm like, oh my God, I might have to go. So after I had passed and everything, I told my mom. Then I told his mom, obviously. So I told both, you know, let everybody know that I passed it at work, whatever. And my mama, I got for real, like, no cap. I think my mama knew. My mom, well, she told me she knew that I was pregnant, because you, like, a mother knows, like, but with Josiah, she didn't know, but with baby girl, she knew. So I'm like, you knew? She's like, yeah, I knew. I told her. She was like, I knew it. So then his mama, we had, well, I went over there to go see her or whatever, and it's funny because, like, we was in the kitchen one day, and me and Sora, we both had knew I was pregnant. And I told Israel's sister too. So after some months went by, I told Israel's sister, because we be playing around so much, we be play fighting. So I was like letting her know, like, all right, we can't be playing like we used to because I'm pregnant or whatever. So she knew. So it was funny because we was in the kitchen and she was like, your butt getting big, you getting thick, you better not be pregnant. And I'm like, I snickered a little bit, and I'm like, what? No, I'm on birth control. She's like, you better not be. And he was looking at each other like, oh, snap. Can you tell? Like, do I look pregnant? Like, what? So I'm like, dang, we looking at each other like, ooh. So I'm like, So we was over there, right, so where I was, we was over there or whatever, as my house was supposed to see her. I had got off work or something. I think I just had got off work and we went to go see her for a little bit. So she was like, my mama called me and told me she had some dreams about some fishes. Now y'all already know I was like, I'm like, dang, for real? So I'm looking like, I got on this big old hot jacket, y'all. Mind you, it's hot in my mother-in-law's house. It's hot in her house. And I got this big old coat on, about to pass, because I don't want her to see how big my belly is. So she was like, you pregnant? I'm like, you pregnant? I looked at her and he left out the room. I'm like, you asked your son if I'm pregnant. Basically trying to get him to tell her, because he didn't want her to know yet. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay. She knows. She knows. She knows. So she was like looking at me, like, let me see your stomach. I'm like, you know what? I try to avoid her. I'm like, all right, here, we gotta go. She was like, I don't care if you're right here, come here. I'm like, because everybody was in the room, so the spotlight was on us, obviously. Everybody kind of just knew, like, it's y'all ain't. And I'm looking at Micah. Actually, you know, it's funny though, because Micah gave me a head warning, like, about the dream. So I already knew before she told me. So I'm like, dang, I think she's gonna break it up. So I'm like, dang. So I told her, you know, we finally said that. She was like, are you serious? I'm like, dang, I done messed up. So she looking, she was like, I knew it. That's why you was getting thick. I'm like, thank you, because I was so ready to take off that hot coat. I finally went to the doctor, whatever, y'all. Mind you, when I get there, I'm just thinking, if you've been pregnant before, you know, when you first go, they like do the ultrasound, all that. Now, I knew I had to been far along, because when you like, I don't know how long they do it, but I know for a while they stick this this thing inside your, you know, lady area, the vagina, and they can see the uterus of the baby and stuff like that. Where they can look at it, they start to do it on your stomach. So I'm like, hold on, how far along am I? She doing my stomach? So me and Israel back there, whatever, and she doing it, and I'm like, that baby big. That baby is huge. I'm like, oh my God. She was like, do you want to find out the gender of the baby? I'm 6 months? I'm 6 months. What? And she was like, it's a girl. I knew it. I knew it was a girl. Just look at the ultrasound. I knew it was a girl before I even went. Just like I knew Josiah was a boy, I knew Alannah was a girl. I'm like, God almighty. So my dad does not know, y'all. He does not know. So if you watch my first video when I told y'all I found out I was pregnant, my dad, he was not happy. That he was upset. So I'm like, oh my God, what am my dad gonna think now? You know, I'm like, you know, I'm 21 or whatever. I'm like, all right, you know, I'm bigger now. He can't really upset, you know, but I can see why, like, a lot of people was looking at the side eye again, because, like, you know, the first time, okay, was an accident. This time was just like, come on. But you know what? In my opinion, like, it's bound to happen, in my opinion. When you have kids young, you're bound to have another one around time. And I wanted to have another baby when I was like 25. I wanted to have my second baby when JoJo was going to school. Well, God working mysterious ways, y'all. So he said, no, go ahead and have this baby and get her out the way. 2 and done. No more for me. Everybody can say, oh no, you're just saying that now. You're young still. No. So I'm like, okay. I came home and I'm like, this is real. Like, this baby is 6 months. Like, sometimes it takes for people to actually see the ultrasound and hear that heartbeat for it to develop, like, wow. Because that's how it happened with me with Josiah. I kind of was like, okay, I'm pregnant, but it didn't hit me till I heard that ultrasound, that heartbeat. But until I seen the ultrasound and heard that heartbeat. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to show my dad. So I'm like, Daddy, look. I went to the doctor's office and look. Mind you, I had on this blue shirt and this cute pink, like, jacket, like this cute pink trench coat. So I'm like, boy or girl, like, I knew I was going to find out the gender that day. Like, I knew I was going to find out the gender. So I'm I walk in their room. I'm like, Daddy, look at this. Look at this. Mom already knew where I was going today. My dad didn't know where I was going. So I showed him the picture. I wish I had that video, y'all. Cause I recorded it to see his reaction. I wish I had it. Like if I could find it, I'm gonna drop it in here. But I don't think I got it no more. So I'm like, Daddy, look. He scroll over. You know, he looking like it's a baby. It's a girl. His face expression, y'all, was like, he didn't say nothing. I'm like, Israel just, you know, for a guy and you not at that point in your life, like, you know, where a lot of men would like to be for their family, it kind of took him a minute to accept it. I think he was just thinking about all the backlash he got from when people found out about Josiah, that's what he was going to get again. And I totally understand when you're young and you're not like rich out here, a lot of people look at you like, you having like a baby, you know that. I don't get me wrong, babies are a blessing, but at the same time, some people are not right to be a parent. As you can see, a lot of people been harming their babies, and it's really sad. It's like some people are not in the right state of mind to take care of babies. So I think that's what a lot of people was questioning us about. Like, you know, we in the right state of mind. We did it with JoJo, you know, but now it's like it's two. You have a toddler, and you can have a toddler, you can have a baby. So it's like, to us, we was like, we gonna have to accept it. It's nothing we could do about it, you know. I don't believe in abortions. I don't, you know, if you believe in abortions, that's you. For me personally, you know, I don't believe in abortions. So I'm like, all right. So it is what it is. So he kind of still was in a state of shock, you know, even though he being new, he still was in a state of shock. But like I said, it takes people to see the baby to actually be like, dang, this is real. This is like for real. This is no joke. So my dad like, wow, another baby, you know. Babies are expensive. It's, you know, same old thing his parents say. So just like, I'm probably like, I'm happy for you, you know. I'm like, are you upset with me? No, okay. Because, you know, he was very upset with me the first time. I guess because I'm out of school now and I got a job, it was kind of different. And that's why I wanted to wait to tell anybody. I wanted to make sure I had a job because I was stay-at-home mom for like, as you can tell, like a whole year with Josiah because I breastfed. I was stay-at-home mom, so I was always at home with JoJo. No income, like my own personal income, not working because it was so hard for me to go to work. With Josiah being breastfed, he didn't eat anything. All he did was just suck me dry. I was a human pacifier. So I'm like, it was hard for me. So I wanted to wait to tell anybody when I had a job. So that's why I told my sister and my best friend, I'm gonna wait until I got a job and I'm tell everybody. So I had a job by then, so I wasn't tripping, you know. And then, you know, good thing about it, I work at a daycare, you know, I got childcare for Josiah, you know, I could just stack my bread up while I'm working at a daycare. And I could tell my mom at the daycare, and you know, he's there, so I don't have to worry about, because that always was an issue to who's gonna watch Josiah. Like, I didn't trust a lot of people. Just, oh, here, can you watch my baby? And like me, but all the stuff I was saying about daycares, I was not ready to put him in no daycare. And I'm not there to see what's going on, because, you know, I'm telling you, some people just don't treat kids right. They don't treat kids right. So that was a lot of things where in my back of my head, why I never had him in daycare. So once I had a job and everything, I'm like, yeah, I wanted to find a daycare job. And I love working with kids. I always love working with kids. I love kids when I was little, being a kid myself, wanting to, oh, can I hold your baby? You know, in church, can I hold her? I see a baby, oh, can I hold him? Everybody knew at this point. So I'm like, all right, it ain't nothing we can do about it. But this pandemic messed up my, like, didn't mess up a lot, but I didn't really get to experience all that experience with JoJo. Like, you know, like, hey, like, for example, babe cannot go to me all my appointments. That sucks. So I was in that room all by myself, looking at our ultrasounds, and he couldn't actually, see them. I'm in there by myself. I got a mask on. I'm pregnant. I can't breathe. And then, I had to, be on standby at work because me and my son got sick. We had caught hand, foot, and mouth, and a lot of people say it's kind of rare for, it's rare for adults to get hand, foot, and mouth. So I'm like, oh my God. So this pandemic really was like different. This pregnancy really made a different factor for this pregnancy because I was literally at home all the time. Like, I just got back on my feet working. It was just felt so good that we have a job and all that, having Josiah in the daycare system where he can learn, really learn and be around more kids, because he was always just around himself and me and his dad and his aunts and uncles and his grandparents and his cousins. So it was good. I was good to have him around a lot of kids, but then again, he was sick and all that. So it was just a lot of factors. But that's really all how I found out I was pregnant and everybody's reactions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for a next upload. It will be my labor and delivery story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and peace.